You know by now who's here to feed your fear. It's me. It's time for another nasty little terror tale from my crawly collection. And this one's got a message, too. Some people are just so in love that they will do anything to make sure that love goes on forever, up to and including murder. This is...
Dear Hurricane, I think I found the love of my life. As handsome and smart, I think. And who's this love, you may ask? Well, it's no other than you, Hurricane. I fall asleep to the sound of your whistles. I hope you notice this. Love, Frankie. Well, try telling that to my girlfriend. Unlike you, she's not psychotic. Dear Frankie, thank you for the letter. You're real smart, you know. I think I started to like you back. Love, Hurricane. Let's see how this relationship goes. Dear Hurricane, I love being in a relationship. You more importantly just listen. It's almost as if I could say anything to you, and you could somehow tell exactly what I needed to hear. Nobody could threaten our relationship. Love, Frankie, dear Frankie, you're starting to have fun with this. In fact, I suppose you could say I fell for you for the same reasons as you'd. Love, Hurricane Lovebirds. Anyone, dear Hurricane, an engine came and threatened our relationships. Well, somebody had their driver brick that engine up in a secret room. He'll break you down and see you as fit. Love, Frankie, dear Frankie, what the fuck? You are a creep-eyed girl. That's all he'll say. Love, Hurricane Opay, dear Hurricane, it happened again. Another engine threatened our relationships. I framed them for something and had them scrapped. I wonder if they'll realize the truth, sweet Hurricane. Oh, well, twice now I haven't gotten my way in our relationships. This is getting really frustrating, and honestly something needs to change. Love, Frankie. Dear Frankie, you're so unhinged. You're willing to kill for my sake or vice versa, I think. Love, Hurricane. Frankie scares me to see how far she was willing to go just for her beloved. Dear Hurricane, sorry for the lack of updates. If I had a nickel for every time someone tried to ruin our relationship by getting close to you, it'd have too many nickels for my liking. Don't worry, I took care of them all. You can stay with me, Hurricane. You can have some fun. Love, Frankie. Dear Hurricane, why haven't you replied? I miss your writing. Are you thinking of breaking up with Matt? If so, I can make that not happen. That first engine who tried to ruin our relationship is not a threat anymore. None of them are. You'll be my perfect loving boyfriend, and I will love you as you love me. Love, Frankie, dear Hurricane, 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 love, Frankie, dear Frankie, how dare you? I thought you were my girlfriend. We're breaking up. You only have yourself to blame for what happens next. Yours, furiously, Hurricane, dear Hurricane, what happened yesterday has to be your fault. It has to be, sure. You looked surprised, but you're a liar. You belong to me and me alone. Everyone else can screw themselves. You can stay with me, you can stay with me. Love, Frankie. I have to report that Hurricane and Frankie both are dead. They died a horrific death. Frankie tried to get close to Hurricane near a vat of molten steel. She didn't count on both of them falling into the molten steel. They melted to death. It's messed up, isn't it? Frankie tried to force Hurricane into a gross relationship, tried to force him to be something he's not, and both died because of that gross relationship. One of the workers observing the steelworks stopped reading his novel suddenly. The molten steel that he watched over was usually very noisy, so much so that nothing else could be heard without leaving the room. He picked at his ear uncertainly, thinking that he had perhaps imagined the noise, but he was sure he could have heard a voice shrieking, as if they had been trapped there down before, and were on fire, and another voice laughing. as if they found their horrible death the funniest thing in the world. Trying not to let his imagination run wild, he decided that he could have a look at it when the vat was emptied later. There was only an hour to go before he could inspect the molten mass when it was cool enough for anything odd. He went back to his book, ignoring the creative flair that insisted that 2 engines had just been incinerated, becoming a charred and melted mass. No wonder he had been labeled as a strange child. With a short sigh, he read on. The hour passed with not much more to make note of, and so he put his book down with satisfaction, having read several more chapters. "Oswald, you better come look at this. There's a jam in the machine." His coworker, a harassed-looking supervisor, panted, having run up to the small box. Oswald was now suddenly aware of the hazard lights and the absence of the inferno below him. Following the older man down to the depths of the metal vat, where the mechanisms of the room worked, he noticed several shaken-looking young workers, a worried look that translated to the inexplicable mysteries of the unknown. In Oswald's opinion, "Sir, you are back. We managed to loosen the blockage. It's just I have no idea." The young woman in overalls trailed off, as if her theory was likely to be dismissed. Oswald, unsure what to make of this general emotion, approached the blocked machinery. There was a young man who was easing the odd shapes out of the mechanism, prying the still smoking objects from where they were lodged. Finally, the young man freed the last part, before staring, wide-eyed, at the objects in his hands. Oswald looked on with interest. A small puzzle lay on the ground before them, scraps of steel, with no explanation as to how it got there. As if in a trance, the young man crouched down. He gave a long sigh of discontentment, shuffling the pieces around gingerly with his gloved hands. "What is it, Sean?" Oswald asked, crouching down beside him. Sean sighed again. He cringed, before looking up at the older man. "You are not gonna believe this, but I think these are engines," he mumbled. Oswald looked at the objects again, before realizing the truth behind the younger's words. It did seem to be 2 engines, now melted beyond much recognition, and there were unrecognizable scraps of metal, blackened by the fire. There were also nameplates, blackened by soot, and buffers. Sure, they were mostly burnt and black, but they were buffers. He felt saddened by how dead they felt. How they had ended up there was beyond him, but he couldn't help but imagine that something must have happened.
Which only goes to prove that someone without self-respect, without dignity, living a life so pathetic and meaningless, they're willing to let it revolve entirely around another person in a creepy obsession they call love, because their twisted mind cannot comprehend real love, cannot be considered a person. It is an existence that is more lowly than the existence of any animal, that of a living filth. Frankie was fun. Way refreshing to have a genuine, bona fide psycho for a change. After all, she ended up so unhinged. Call me old-fashioned, but I think she got what she deserved. Well, hope you enjoyed our little bedtime story, kids.